Good morning, everyone. I'm Ricardo Muller, and I'm staying in South Africa, the Free State, in a town called Winnie Mandela, watering my garden. I started this vegetable garden 2 to 3 years ago. At first, my goal was to feed my family organic vegetables where there were no pesticides used or chemicals, and it has further grown into the fact that I want to inspire my fellow South Africans to also start vegetable gardening, because it's very good for your health, first of all, and you can also feed your family organic food. And that feeling of satisfaction that you get from eating something that you've grown from seed to harvest, there's no comparison with that satisfaction that you get. Us as South Africans has abandoned mostly gardening. Most people, they don't do it anymore. So I just want to encourage people to start doing vegetable gardening again, or gardening in any shape, size or form. Yeah, I've planted chives and they're just coming up. You can see there my chives. I've also planted leeks. They are multi-sown, so the leeks is roughly 5 plants per cell. The chives, I've put 8 seeds per cell. This side is where I planted my baby leaf mix lettuce. I prick it out from this tray and then I plant it in individual cells to grow up to a stage where I can plant it into the ground. This is cabbage, baby cabbage. This is my greenhouse where I plant my tomatoes, cucumbers. This is some of the compost, worm compost, that I harvested from my worm burns. I've got some peas growing here. For some or other reason, the birds are giving me a hard time this year. They're eating my pea plants. So I've put these ones in the greenhouse for safekeeping. The ones growing outside are being eaten by the birds. Here I've got a tray of leftover beetroot plants. I've planted some in the ground already. On this side I have the baby leaf mix lettuce that I've pricked out, and they are growing now. My plan is to plant them in the greenhouse here over this middle section. On this middle section here, that's my plan. So whilst I'm showing you the garden, think about it. If you've got water, you've got seeds, and you've got the know-how, you can also create a nice vegetable garden for yourself. Here I've got onions growing. This is a red onion. They've been growing for roughly 2.5 months. I've interplanted them with carrots, just to experiment to see how they will do. Lots of onions. I've planted these onions in a clump of 8, and then I harvested most of the onions young as green onions. I used it in my cooking. And these ones, I leave 2 or 3 plants to mature and make a nice onion bulb for storage or to use fresh. Here I have a bed Swiss chard. This one gives a lot of food. I've already harvested twice. I've also interplanted it with carrots to experiment and see how it will do. This is my chard. I've got onions there at the back growing. Here I've got also onions interplanted with carrots. Today is the 7th of August and technically it's still winter in South Africa. We still get a frost up until somewhere in September. But I'm going to start my spring plantings indoors just to protect them from the frost. This is kohlrabi. Nice plants, healthy plants, grown with no added fertilizer. Just the compost that I make in my yard by using old leaves, fallen leaves, grass clippings, kitchen waste, and then I compost it. I will later show you the composting system I use. This is also red onions. Here I've got some cabbage interplanted with onions and lettuce. On this bed I've got that, and then on that bed is Chinese cabbage interplanted with clumps of onions. And they're growing nicely, no problems. Our biggest challenge actually here as gardeners is water. We do not have a reliable supply of water, so that is a bit challenging to grow a garden this size. That's my greenhouse. This side I keep my chickens in the chicken coop that I've built off of materials that was lying in my yard. If I go towards the back here, I've also created another garden at the back. And yeah, I've also started some onions. The reason why I plant so many onions is because we use onions on almost every dish that we prepare. I will later make some videos and show you how I use the vegetables. Here I've got onions planted. Next to it is lettuce. Lettuce is growing nicely. And where you see the kohlrabi and the cabbage plant is where some of the lettuce didn't make it. And then I used that space. I filled it with those plants. All along the fence here I've planted some peas, but the peas you can see they're small, eaten to the ground by the birds. Birds eat these peas. They eat the peas. And this is also clumps of onions that I've planted. Oh, these chickens can be noisy. Next to that, I have my coriander growing. I use the leaves and I let them grow up. Then I also use the seeds in my cooking. Next to that, I planted some beetroot. Still young, starting out. Please follow along as I show you my garden and how it develops over the spring and summer and all the harvests that I will be getting. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video.